Clara, now we know the date of the next general election, November the 19th. How do locals in Johor feel about the dates for the upcoming polls?
Well, on the streets of Johor, the reactions to the official nomination and polling dates have been somewhat mixed so far. On one end of the spectrum, some voters tell me that they're eager and looking forward to casting their ballots on the 19th of November. Some say that this is all too rushed and it comes at a very inconvenient time, while others haven't been all too bothered about the dates for election at all. Let's take a listen to what they have to say.
比较没有太过留意这个投票日，因为现在目前对两个政党的话，感觉他们的政策还没有给我们很大的信心，所以基本上可能还会再考虑是投哪个政党这样子咯。
I think it's a bit of a hectic time. Yeah, because as students also we are mostly focused on studies, so to announce it suddenly, then we are not sure what to do. Yeah. For me, not a convenient time lah. Yeah.
Kalau undi, kalau diri sendiri lah, ada niat. Kalau betul-betul, ada lah. Tapi kadang kita orang fikir kerja dululah. Nanti undi lah, lewat-lewat lah. Dia biasa budak muda macam tu lah.
Another issue that has come into play is how Johor is heading into its monsoon season with the rest of Malaysia, which typically lasts from October to sometime around March. Now, Johorian voters have told me that they're disappointed in politicians who've decided to hold elections at this particular time, especially when rural areas in Johor are quite prone to floods, and campaigning should be taking a back seat at this time. However, on the other hand, we have coffee shops, cafes, restaurant owners and F&B operators that I've spoken to earlier who say that they're actually looking forward to the campaign season, and that's because they're expecting greater footfall with rallies and walkabouts just around the corner. In fact, some expect business to surge by about 50%, which is something that they've seen during the Johor state polls earlier this year as well. And in order to keep up with that demand, some have actually hired temporary staff in order to make up the numbers. Printers that produce campaign materials such as posters, banners, stickers and T-shirts even, they say they're seeing a surge in orders as well, and they're looking forward to cashing in on the election dollar.
Well, Clara, apart from the mixed reaction, Johor had already had its state polls earlier this year. How do you think this will impact voter turnout?
Well, analysts that I've spoken to say that voter apathy and voter fatigue is still at an all-time high in Johor in particular, especially because it's a state that has just had its state elections about 7 months ago. Now, the Johor state polls typically take place together with the federal elections, but sources tell me that Barisan Nasional, the ruling coalition, had called for the state polls and took it as a sort of litmus test in order to gauge its level of support amongst the voters. While it managed to secure a win during the state polls, it did say that the voter turnout was rather dismal at about 55%. Analysts that I've spoken to say that they expect that number for Johor to be slightly higher this time around, simply because voters are typically more excited when it comes to voting for a federal government rather than a state one. But their forecasts are still rather conservative at the low end of 70%. And that goes back to the issue of flooding. Now, the Malaysian Meteorological Department did say that they've warned of flash floods, heavy rain, and even Johorians have reported seeing sporadic flash floods as well. Now, this won't pose an issue just for the campaigning period. It will also pose an issue during polling day. Voters tell me that those who have mobility issues, such as the elderly or those who are wheelchair bound, will be much more hesitant to leave their homes and cast their ballots on polling day.
Well, Clara, thank you very much for that update. That was Clara Lee in Johor Bahru.